Or do you want me to just film the
Just
line?
film the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
It goes off.
Evan, you want the whole?
Wait, what is that?
Yes. No, yeah, just for Walter Marshall.
Okay.
You just got to.
So is it true you're the absentee landlord? Is that true? How many names How many? You looking for work? I can ride a horse. For work? Oh, walking boss. Hey!
March!
Just move up and down.
Stay to the side. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here doing a very large alt-right event.
Of a larger attack on European American history. We've seen the statue of Christopher Columbus removed at Pepperdine University.
We have a very large contingent of activists and nationalists. As you can see, we have a number of... Let me get away from this drone. We have a drone right here. Look at that. High-tech nationalism. By the way, this is Reinhard Wolf. I am helping Richard out with some periscoping. We have Matt Heimbach. Got a lot of... all the big names, it seems, in here. You can see some of the townspeople are a bit bewildered. Want everyone to go ahead and retweet this, please. We want to get as many people watching as possible. As you can see, we have a very large column. Let's hurry it up. Gentlemen. What's going on? What's happening? Got some women here too. It's not all men. What's going on? So as you can see, we have a lot of people gathered today. What's going on? Hey, what's up, man? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Let's talk later.
Pleasure to see you, Reinhard.
What's going on, guys? So we've got a nice rear view of the column here.
Keep tight. Congratulations. That's beautiful. Thank you. You're lucky.
If you look over here, we have a multicultural event of some sort. We're celebrating culture today too, but probably not the kind that they're about. More bewildered onlookers. The original plan was to block the street and march up that way, but police weren't too big on that, so instead of having everyone get arrested, we decided to be a little more civil. We are white after all, right? There we go, is that better? What is white culture? Well, do you think you're able to define culture? I would wager that you can't. So you should go and look that up first. Culture is anything created by people, and Therefore, white culture is anything created by white people. Yeah, as you guys can see, we have a lot of different flags here. I think that's a Nordic Resistance Movement flag. We have Vanguard America. I don't recognize some of these, but I do. There is the Confederate flag, TWP, a bunch of state flags. Here we are, we have arrived at our destination. Yeah, everyone go ahead and retweet this. Let's get as many people watching as possible. And again, this is not Richard, this is Reinhard Wolf. Richard's a little too busy to be periscoping this. A lot of people here. This part is we were able to set something like this up without Antifa knowing. This has got to be very blackpilling for them. I'm assuming they're going to be quite disappointed that they weren't invited to the party, given that they don't have much else going on. Look at all these nationalists. A lot of people. A few onlookers very surprised by the commotion. This isn't something you see every day. There we go, we have the statue, as you can see, the statue of Stonewall Jackson. You know what, Matt Heimbach had his event along with the other affiliated groups just, what was that, a week or two ago? Now we have another massive event. Appears I'm on the wrong side of things here. We have some signs. Looks like Black Twitter has manifested in poster form.
VIPs and security front and center.
We have a pretty substantial security detail, in addition to some VIPs, Richard Spencer, Mike Here's the Thing, you know, Nathan Domingo.
March.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here for two reasons. We are here to say no. No more attacks on our heritage, on our identity. No more attacks on us as a people. But we are also here to say yes. Yes, this is who we are. Yes, we are going to occupy space. have awoken. We are here. We are never going away. We will never back down to the cowardly attacks on our people and our heritage. This is the beginning. This is the beginning of something much bigger than any individual here. This is the beginning of a movement. This is the beginning of awakening. An awakening here in Charlottesville, an awakening that is going around the entire world. We are here to say we are not going anywhere. Some of us are Southerners, some of us are Yankees. Yeah.
Yankee pride.
I hesitate to admit this, but I was actually born in Massachusetts. But the fact, no disavowals. But the fact is, what brings us together is that we are white. We are a people. We will not be replaced. Also, to my chagrin, I am going to hand the mic off to a man who has outdressed even me. And that is Nathan D'Amigo. Please don't hit me, buddy, please.
If you want it, you're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah.
Because our opponents, they're willing to fight for what they believe. And they're willing to go there. And when they take it there, we have to be willing to push back. About a year ago, we started off with probably a handful of people, Richard and I, at Berkeley. Just a dozen people. Now, we're in every major metropolitan area across the United States. It only took a year to accomplish this. We have shaken the foundations of our country and that of our civilization. Those who are in charge right now, they're trying to put a lid on this, but they can't. They cannot stop us. They cannot stop you. They cannot stop people whose future is theirs. And your future becomes yours by taking it in your hands and doing something.
Yeah.
We're going to continue this fight. We're going to push back against those who try to rip down the monuments of our ancestors and our people. These people want to replace us, but they can't quite yet. So they're doing the one thing they can in the meantime, and that is replacing images of us, images of our people. And it's not just these Confederate monuments that they're tearing down. They're tearing down Shakespeare in colleges. They're removing the pictures of images of others. And it won't stop with Confederate monuments. The same people cheering about the monument that was taken down yesterday in St. Louis were burning flags, but they weren't burning the Confederate flag, they were burning the American flag. Because they are well aware, just like we are, of what this fight is really about. This fight is not about these monuments, which may hurt some feelings. This fight is essentially a demographic struggle for the future of Western civilization. And they will not replace us! someone who's been fighting this longer than I've been alive, and I'm honored to stand next to Sam Dixon.
Can y'all hear it?
Yeah.
What a tremendous sight you are. You're a creature of sore eyes. I've been involved in this since I was 15 years old, and I've seen this movement grow from a tiny little kernel to what it is today. Things are much better today than they've ever been before. The guy who organized this rally reminded me that I'm the only Southerner speaking. As I like to say, I was walking with some Italian Americans this morning. It doesn't matter whether you came over on the Mayflower or not. We're all in the same boat now.
Yes.
And they hate us. They are people who are full of hate. They project onto us all of the things that they are. And they do want to replace us, not merely by territorially moving around. The ultimate goal, which is quite clear from their actions, is that they want to erase us from the face of the globe, and with us, our religion, our civilization, and our culture. But first and foremost, our race. Just for a few minutes, I thought I would sort of compare and contrast. You went back to high school when we used to write essays, compare and contrast. I don't know if they still do that nowadays, since American education is devoted to stamping out critical thinking.
That is comparing and contrasting.
Yeah.
Racism.
Anyway, I want to compare and contrast us with our enemies. Now, I'm here today. I am a Southerner. I'm a near relative to John C. Calhoun. There's a Confederate bond that stands by my door when I leave my house that has a picture of my cousin on it, Dushka Pickens, who lit the fuse for the first cannon shot at Fort Sumter. So I am really a true Southerner. I am not interested in dredging up all of the crimes and atrocities of that long ago war. The future is far more important to us than the past. The past is important, but the present and the future are more important than the past. And just as Nathan Demigo said, they hate all of us. They hate the descendants of the Grand Army of the Republic as much as they hate the descendants of the Army of Northern Virginia. The agenda is our replacement and our destruction. They hate Christopher Columbus. They hate Pope Urban II for preventing the Muslims from taking over Constantinople and the Balkans. They hate Isabella and Ferdinand for driving the Muslims out of Spain. They want us eradicated. They hate us all. And we are all one people joined together, whether we're Italians or Anglo-Saxons, whether we live here or whether we live in Russia. And the time for family quarreling is over.
Yeah.
It's Our race is our nation. Our race is our nation. That does not mean that culture and civilization and religion are not important, because races live within a cultural and historic community. But they hate us first and foremost for simply the biological fact of our existence. We, as Southerners, lost the war. We deserved to win, but we could not cope with overwhelming numbers and resources, and with mercenaries recruited by Abraham Lincoln from Europe, with promises that our land would be given to them when they defeated us. But we did not lose everything in that war. We lost a war, but we retained our race, we retained our culture. And the sufferings of that war has left a legacy to Southerners that no other area of the nation has. And that is, we are at home. We have a sense of identity that most Americans, I think, don't have. I hasten to add, by the way, that my ancestors also came from Massachusetts. My mother's family was Massachusetts. My father always told us that we had an explosive genetic inheritance, that that there are very few people in America who are descended from a captain at Bunker Hill with the Massachusetts militia and a general with the South Carolina militia at Cowpen. So I have in my blood the most radical of each region. But we are at home. I can drive, maybe not from Alexandria, Virginia, which is Dixie or Adenta. It's been lost to the third world. But 50 miles south of Alexandria, I can drive all the way to Corpus Christi, and I'm at home. I'm with my people. In the Army, I noticed Southerners tended to mess together, so Southern soldiers tended to hang out together. This is our legacy born of suffering. We must now create a similar legacy for white people, for white European Christians all over the world. There must be a sense of being at home with each other. This does not mean we will give up our individual identities, but it does mean that we will see that family feuds have to be kept in line and that the family comes first against outsiders.
Yes.
What then of our enemies? At the outbreak of the war, Senator Robert Toombs of Georgia told people, he made a talk to other Southerners, and he said, we are at war with cupidity married to fanaticism. Now, I'm an Anglo-Saxon, and I like to choose Anglo-Saxon words instead of the Latin loan words that came to us when we were conquered by William the Conqueror. And I like to speak with good old-fashioned Saxon words rather than words like cupidity and fanaticism. When we deal with the kind of white people in Charlottesville today who collaborate with our racial enemies, we're dealing with two types of people, just as the South was facing in 1861. Not cupidity, but money mania. We're dealing with the money-mad Chamber of Commerce people, and we're dealing with fanaticism, or let's just call them plain out in English, crackpots. We're dealing with the money maniacs and the crackpots, and they're each prongs of the same fork. I'm talking about our own people. Why I certainly understand why blacks coalesce for black interests. The problem are white people who betray us for personal advancement or out of ideological insanity. The greedy people, the Chamber of Commerce, the 1%, people who will have no place in our future ethno-state, but will be sent away from us along with their children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Because my own theory is that these people are genetically flawed. They are genetically inclined to sociopathy, and they have no place in a racial community. These are the greedy people. They're like the people who read Robert Ringgold's book, Looking Out for Number One. They are natural libertarians or objectivists, so they follow Ayn Rand. They're always looking for themselves, to get the bigger, empty house. These people think they are rich, but they are bankrupt. They have nothing but their money. They have sacrificed their race, they have sacrificed their country, they have sacrificed their religion, they have sacrificed their language, they have sacrificed their literature, they have sacrificed their art, all for the sake of their empty, soulless McMansion in the suburbs. They are people who are truly bankrupt, and we should hold them beneath contempt.
Yes.
Contempt doesn't even approach the correct attitude toward these people. And then we deal with the fanatics, the equivalent of John Brown and the abolitionists back then, and the Antifa today, and their liberal cousins in the New York Times and on All Things Considered. Those of them who are not Jewish, but who are actually identical to us ethnically. These people are enslaved to ideas. They have dominated our country from its inception. That's why Richard Spencer is so right, that we cannot go back to an Eisenhower America. We have to create an entirely new system and a new paradigm for thinking. Not only Americans, but Anglo-Saxons in general, and I'm not a self-loathing Anglo-Saxon, by the way, but Anglo-Saxons in general have a hard time standing up for themselves.
Celts don't.
You can go around England, as I have done, and Scotland, and you will see monuments all over the place to those who died for freedom. In Decatur, where I used to practice law, there's a Confederate statue on the town square, and it says, "They died for states' rights and for the Constitution as it was written." If they died for something like that, then were truly fools. The reality is more important than vague notions. I read recently a quote from Benjamin Franklin. I will tell it to you, and I want you to read your own internal thinking as you listen to this quote. Benjamin Franklin said, "Wherever liberty is, that is my country." Now, what do y'all think about that? That has to be one of the nuttiest, craziest, most delusional things imaginable. What if all the Greeks or the Spaniards who've been conquered by the intolerant force of Islam, what if they all decided that, oh, I'm not Greek, my country is wherever there's freedom. There would be no Greece, there would be no Spain. So this stuff has deep, deep taproots, this delusional thinking. But these are the two types of people we're fighting against. The totally selfish, materialistic, individualized, atomized, jumped up white trash that rules us, and these obsessed, insane, maniacal people who get some sort of a thrill out of hating their own race. They're the reverse of Rosa Parks. They are people who will give up their racist place on the bus. Not their own, mind you. Most of them have a scheme in the back of their mind, how they're going to be a federal judge. They've got an agenda for themselves, just like the sociopaths. But they don't have the loyalty of Rosa Parks. They don't have the balls of Rosa Parks. They don't have the backbone of Rosa Parks. And they also are beneath contempt. And they also are probably genetically flawed. And they will also have no place in our ethnicity. But I know I've talked too long. I just want to say that my heritage, left to me by my ancestors who fought for the Confederacy, and every one of my male ancestors fought for the Confederacy. Everyone fought to the last ditch for the Confederacy. Not far from here at Appomattox, my great-grandfather, William Bayless Dixon, refused to take the Yankees' parole and fled to South Carolina because he wanted to continue the fight. But anyway, we have this heritage from them, of a people, of belonging to an actual people. Your descendants will have that heritage precisely because of people like you. Thank you so much.
Hey, I want to thank everyone for being here. Real proud of everyone. This is real great turnout. Really, everyone looks great. It's fantastic. And, you know, I can't really add much to what's already been said, but, you know, this is more than just Confederate monuments. I mean, this is more, as we said, this is images of white people. This is images of white heroes, images of white warriors that are being torn down to, you know, attack and demoralize our people and make us think that we don't have a future. They don't want us to have a future. They want to destroy our future. They want to replace us with some sort of, you know, mixed, muddy people that will just be easy consumers, won't stand up for themselves, will just go, buy, shop, be part of the cogs in the machine. And that's what they want. That's the future. That's global capitalism. That's whatever you want to call it. International socialism, it doesn't matter. It's the ideology of the elite, and that's what they want to do to us. That's why they want to destroy images of our people. It's not going to stop with Robert E. Lee. It's not going to stop with Jefferson Davis. They're going to go after Andrew Jackson. They're going to go after Thomas Jefferson. They're going to go all the way back, as we said, to Shakespeare. They're going to go after any white person that was a hero, that represented Europe, that represented white culture, white civilization. They're going to go after every single one of them. It's going to be politically incorrect. It's going to be a hate crime. Excuse me. It's going to be a hate crime to show pride in your people, pride in your race. And what other people would be subjected to this sort of humiliation, openly, publicly, day in, day out, expected to go along with it, to just nod their heads, shake their heads, keep their heads down, not be noticed, not step out of the crowd because it's going to affect your life, etc. But we're not going to do it anymore, and that's why we're here, and it's a really impressive showing, and I'm just so proud of everyone and so happy with this whole thing. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
There is a general unease amongst all of us white people. We have some 150, 200 people out here today. There are millions of white people right now who are reading about the tearing down of these monuments in the paper. They're seeing an image of a Confederate hero being removed in New Orleans. They're seeing an image of a portrait of Shakespeare being removed from some Ivy League college. And they have a general unease. They literally, quite literally, don't know what to say. There's an angst amongst millions upon millions of white people.
Someone upset?
We are the tip of that spear because we are putting into words what this is all about. Millions upon millions of people recognize what's happening. They're comfortable. This is not like a genocide of yesteryear. This is not a war with bullets and trenches and tanks. This is a psychological war. This is a moral war. They know that it is happening. They know. We put it into words, and we will fight it. We will fight it on the battlefield in which the war is taking place. And that is the battlefield of symbolism. That's also the battlefield of morality. By that, I don't mean the hot-button moral issues that we're used to. I mean morality on a much deeper sense of the word. Moralizing ourselves. We have been demoralized our entire lives. People, raise your hand if you're under the age of 25. These people were born into it. They don't know of another America outside of the demoralized white America, where all of white history is a history of oppression, a history of racism and slavery, and all those terrible things we've done to the world. They don't know any other way to think about who they are outside of I am guilty. The only way I can purge that giant guilt trip is to become something other than who I am. To exit my family and say, oh, I'm just an individual. I'm an American citizen. I don't see race. Well, I'm a Christian. We're all Christian brothers here. No, you're not. You're not a citizen. Your citizenship, what is citizenship? You pay taxes. You have a driver's license. Congratulations. That's meaningless bullshit.
Huh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're a Christian. You're going to connect with the millions of Christians in Africa. You're going to all be one nation. No, you are not going to be part of that nation. They do not want you in that nation. They do not understand your religion in the way that some of these goofy white people understand it. What Christianity is an expression of who we are. It's a cultural manifestation of a much deeper identity, a much deeper way of viewing the world. That's what that is. I can remember actually being in Hungary about a decade ago, and I visited a little place called Statue Park. And it was very difficult to find. I actually met a very, very nice Hungarian girl on the train, and she helped me find this place. It's outside of town. I had to take 2 buses, and then I had to walk about a quarter mile. And I reached this wonderful place called Statue Park. And they had all of the communist statues from yesteryear that had been removed, that had been neutered, and they were in this park. And to be honest, some of them were actually quite beautiful. Some of them were actually far preferable to the horrifying postmodern trash that makes up most modern cities. The vague monoliths of Holocaust memoriam that seems to be at the center of our public square, the center of our minds. This big negative nothing at the center of who we are in our culture. We worship death. This is who we are. No. Some of those statues were actually quite beautiful. They were quite bold. Men standing forward, looking off into the future. Some of them, most of them, if I'm honest, had a kind of neutered, ridiculous quality to them. They were statues of a half-remembered revolution, of an ideology that is viewed as silly and ridiculous and as failed.
You will not replace us! 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 You will not replace us!
I don't think the people who want to take down statues of Jackson and Lee and other heroes want to do it in such a bold fashion of ripping it down and burning it and stamping on the crumbs. I think what they want is to put all these statues in some little museum someplace. Maybe outside of Charlottesville. We could all take a bus and go look at these statues of, oh look, that was the white race. They want to put us into a museum in the sense that they want to neuter us. They want to take away who we are. They want to take away our heritage, but much more important than our heritage, they want to take away our future. These people who want to tear down this statue, they actually imagine a kind of European world, a world of Western civilization. Western civilization in the sense that we all have iPhones and we like feminism. We're able to consume things through Snapchat, whatever that is. Seriously, I don't know what that is.
Be glad.
They want a Western world, an end of history. But what they want is a world in which we do not exist. They want a Western world without us. That is what they want. It is a horrifying parody of the civilization that our ancestors built. It will be a neutered, ridiculous version of that communist statue park that I visited. Look at that. That was the white race. Fascinating stuff. That's what they want. They want us neutered in a museum. I don't think it is any coincidence at all that I see so many young faces, so many people who were born into this world, born into this nihilistic whirlpool that we're all being sucked into. The older people get it, they get it in their heart, they get it in their gut. They don't get it in their mind. They have a general unease about what's happening. I wish they didn't take that down. I remember that statue. I remember coming to this park with my parents. I remember this is where I asked my wife to marry me. They have all these great memories. Oh, they shouldn't take that statue down. That's sad. But they can't articulate a way forward. They can't articulate a vision. They can't articulate a future. Young people, everyone here today was born into this. We were born into this crisis. We were born into this world that is tearing us down, that is trying to erase us. The difference is that we can put it into words. We know what's happening. It's not just a statue. Who is Robert E. Lee? He was a deeply Christian man. That is true. But he was himself a god. He, in a very deep religious sense, the Washingtons, the Lees, the Shakespeares, even, I'll say, the Abraham Lincolns are... Whoa. Let's be honest, they're coming for Abraham Lincoln next.
They can have it.
I thought we were supposed to avoid brothers' war. These are gods in a kind of pagan sense of the word. They're larger than life. They're bigger than mere men. They are expressions of an ideal. In Lee's sense, he is an expression of certainly a gentlemanliness that perhaps had its most wonderful flower in the southern United States. He's also an expression of a man who saw the potential of the Civil War as a destruction of the country that his ancestors fought for. His ancestors fought the Revolutionary War, we should remember. He saw it, but he fought on behalf of Virginia because he was a patriot. He fought with an aggressiveness, perhaps even a foolhardiness, that is also an expression of nothing less than a god. They are trying to take away our gods. They are trying to take away our ideals. They are trying to take away who we are. And in the stead of these monuments, God knows what they're going to erect. Some monument to death, some monument to slavery and the Holocaust, some monument to the black cloud that hangs over everyone's head. Or perhaps quite literally, it will be a statue to Lady Gaga. I will not put that past them. They went to memorialize equality. Equality. We're all the same. I don't want to live in a world of equality. You can see equality in some of the monumentally awful architecture that we have in the postmodern age. Equality is one big highway, one big chain store, one big strip mall. That is truly a place where everything is the same. It is a place without history. It's a place without a future. It is a place where every single featherless biped organism is nothing other than a credit card. I don't want to live in that world. I want to live in a world of difference. I want to live in a world of identity. I want to live in a world of beauty.
That's right!
I want to live in a world of gods and heroes like Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson. I want to live in a world of the white men who created our civilization and our culture. We're the ones putting it into words. We know the battlefield that this is being fought on. It is fought on a battlefield of moralization. It's fought on a battlefield of symbolism, like this statue. It is fought on these battlefields. And those are the spaces that we will occupy. We will not be replaced from this park. We will not be replaced from this world. Whites have a future. We have a future of power, of beauty, of expression. A greater civilization than what our ancestors were capable of. That is our future. That is your future, and we will seize it. Thank you very much.
We gotta take a picture real quick. Yeah, something. Let's do that. You have an Antifa coming here right now. Right there.
Physical removal.
They will not replace us. See him try.
I'd like to see them try.
We don't need a helicopter, we have Amigo. Thoughtfully.
You people have too much to think. He's not to arrest you for thinking.
Right. Because it's let's say if we're being evaluated, their argument from your side.
Oh, I didn't know they had those anymore.
And it's just the fact that I think we're all set.
All right, let's do it. All right. Onward!
Yeah.
Read the Discord for our plans for this evening for dinner. We have the venue set up, so check there. All right, venue. 5 p.m. for dinner. All right? Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you for